Yeah, I mean, as you would guess, it's not the greatest of feelings, right, to come off another loss like that and it being a 5-game losing streak. I guess the one bright spot would be the fact that we got a game on Thursday night and we got no other choice but to kind of flip the script and, get back and figure out how we're going to win this game on Thursday.
Tyler, from your vantage point, what's gone wrong with the team during this 5-game skid?
Looking back at it, after every game, you kind of look back like, damn, well, especially these close games we've had. And I guess the one thing that kind of comes to mind is just kind of shooting ourselves in the foot with the little things, right? Whether it's penalties, pre-snaps, holding, whatever it may be. It just seems that like in a crucial moment, we seem to, make mistakes that you can't make when you want to, win football games in this league. That's just kind of the thing that's stuck out, over some of these tough losses is just, making mistakes that you can't make in crucial moments when you got to win games.
Tyler, you guys were pretty shocked 3 weeks ago when Saleh got fired. I'm wondering, looking back, having the benefit of hindsight, looking back on the last 3 weeks, do you think that's a pretty traumatic thing for a team to lose its coach in the middle of the year? Do you think there's been some residuals effects of it, like the team maybe shocked by it and continuing to be shocked by it, like any residual effects from that?
Not necessarily. I think that's kind of just the nature of this business, right? And, as football players, professional athletes, and as an organization, it's your job to go out there no matter what happens and, figure out ways to win football games. So, you don't have time in this league to sit there and feel sorry for yourself or, have an excuse of why you're not winning or why you're not doing what you need to be doing. So, no, I don't want to, say that. I think, as a team, no matter what happens, you got to control what you can control and find ways to get on the right path and win football games.
On some of those timeouts in the first quarter, did it look like having to use those timeouts with the play clock was going down? Do you think it's because some guys were not getting, in and out of the huddle fast enough? Did you sense that at all, that guys were maybe not moving with a sense of urgency?
I think it was just a combination of stuff. I think, it was a sense of urgency. There's so many variables that go into plays getting called, getting called in the huddle, just to, from getting from one person to another person. So, the urgency out of the huddle, getting lined up. I mean, there's just a combination of all the little things that go into pre-snap that kind of caused it.
Did you guys meet with?
Tyler, is it difficult to regroup so quickly for a game on Thursday, or in some way is that does it work in your favor to have to regroup so fast?
Yeah, I would say it works in our favor, right? I think it's a good opportunity to go get a really bad taste out of your mouth. So instead of having to wait, a full week to do so.
Did you guys meet already as a team? And if so, what was Jeff's message today?
No, we haven't. We got a similar week scheduled to our last Thursday night game. So we had the meetings here pretty soon.
You guys, obviously had such high hopes this season. Now to be at 2-6, how do you just avoid kind of a malaise coming over the team, and how do you regroup here?
Yeah, I mean, all you can do, right, is wake up, go to football, prepare, go to meetings, prepare, go to practice, prepare. Go out there, put your best foot forward as an individual, as a unit, as a team, to go out there and win football games. 2-6 isn't where you want to be or where we thought we'd be. But the last thing we're going to do as individuals or as a team is quit on it.
We haven't reviewed yet, so we meet at 3 p.m. But I watched the tape. If you want to ask my analysis on the game for the last drive, it just comes down to executing. The guys on defense, we got to execute the calls. They put a lot of stress on us in the secondary as far as what we got to do, and we have the guys talented enough to do it. So we just got to execute the plays, and we got to make those plays like we normally make. And unfortunately, we weren't able to. We always, especially as a defense, we want the game to come down to us. You know, we don't want, I mean, like, honestly, like the defense, we don't want the game to be on the offensive hands. Like, we want that pressure to be on us. Like, that's what we live for. So we got to go out there and execute, and we can't give up a touchdown. And we end up, giving up a touchdown and losing the game.
DJ, how surprising, frustrating, all those things when you guys came into the season believing you're going to be much better than what you've shown so far?
Yeah, man, it's frustrating. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. We have a talented roster, on paper. We have a talented roster on paper. But quite honestly, that doesn't mean anything, It comes down to playing complementary football, offense scoring points, special teams contributing, defense, creating turnovers, giving the offense the ball back. And unfortunately, we're not playing complementary football. As far as the defense, because that's all I could speak for, because I play on defense, we're not creating turnovers. Last game, we had a few chances to create some turnovers. The Patriots, they put the ball on the ground about 2 to 3 times, and for whatever reason, we were unfortunate to get the ball back. So that's something that we got to emphasize, just like scoop and score. When the ball's on the ground, we got to emphasize getting that ball back for our offense. Giving up explosives. The last drive, we got to be better. But that game should not even been close, to be real with you. Like, when you watch it, you sit down, you can't let anybody in the league feel like they could play with you, especially if you're up by a certain amount of points. You got to put your foot on their throat, really. Like, when you playing teams, you're up by a touchdown, you got to score another touchdown. In defense, you got to get the ball back again so the offense can score another touchdown. So now, whoever you're playing, they're defeated. But if you allow people to, stick, and, it's a 3-point game still, and it's a 6-point game still, and then they finally make a play, that gives them confidence and momentum shift. And that's when things happen, and that's when they feel confident enough, and that's how you get beat. And that's what happened last game.
DJ, you said this is a talented roster on paper. To get it to go from paper to real life, does there need to be like a certain mindset in place to make that happen? And does it exist here?
I would say I believe it exists here. I would say that I think it's a player thing. I don't think it's a coaching thing. Coaches going to call plays. Players got to execute it. I think that the guys on the field control the outcome of the game. That's what I believe. Obviously, coaching is important. But the guys that are on the field, we got to get the job done on offense, on special teams, on defense. And right now, we're not doing it. Like, I don't know what it is. We're not doing it. We're not executing. That game should have been won. I'm going to be real. Like, that game should have been a win. Should have been, but it's the NFL. Like, you got to come out there on that Sunday and you got to come with it because, they're an NFL team. But that game should have been won. We beat them the first game 24-3. Denver should have been won. Denver's playing well now, but at the time, that should have been a win. The games you're supposed to win, you got to win. Like, I look back on the season, San Francisco, they won in a dominant fashion. Minnesota, I feel like we should have won that game, but just basing off their record, that's a great team right now. So those 2 losses, okay, but I feel like all the other games, have been decided by 3 points, by 1 point, by 4 points, by a touchdown. These are games that should be wins in my opinion. So I think that's the frustrating part. It's not like we're going out there and, we're just getting whooped. You know what I'm saying? We're just like, dang, like what's going on? Like we're losing by 3 touchdowns or we're losing by 2 tubs. It's painful because we're losing by 4 points, a field goal, 2 points, 1 point. It's like, we're just coming up right short. We're finding ways. I feel like we're finding ways to lose because, like I said, we have a talented roster. Like Joe Douglas has put together a talented team. So I think that's the frustrating part of just figuring like, why are we not finishing games?